This is a video I've wanted to make for quite some time. After reviewing dozens of controllers between $60 to $300 and then also building, and after fully disassembling and customizing hundreds, maybe even thousands of controllers, I have a pretty good idea of what actually works and what does not. So this is a little list I've compiled of upgrades around the $20 range. I say $20 range because things like, for example, Thumbstick Caps. You can literally get like an assorted pack of 30 thumbstick caps for $6 on Amazon, or you can go with a name brand like Control Freaks where it's 15 or 20 bucks for one set or one pair. But these are all around the $20 range. Some of them are aimed more towards actual performance and comfort, and some are just cosmetic to make your controller look better, so it's an extension of you, your personality, your flair, your flavor, and kind of fits your style. So the very first one that I alluded to just a second ago is thumbstick caps. So this kind of fits into a couple of factors. One, comfort and performance, because they actually do give you a little bit more grip, and a lot of them do feel a lot better to the actual thumbs than standard thumbstick caps. They also do add a little bit of performance because when you increase the height of the right stick, you can actually crank up your sensitivity a little bit because you have more leverage over the right stick. Because obviously, since you're not using something like a mouse where you have 6 to 8 inches of adjustment when it comes to aiming, you have about 3/4 of an inch to 1 inch of adjustment for your aim. So when you're trying to do things like snap aim or those finite movements, it is quite difficult, for lack of a better word. But when you add a little bit of height to the right stick, that allows you, like I said, to fine-tune your sensitivity a little bit. And a lot of controllers are now coming with what's called impact rings. So if I show you this PS5 DualSense 5 controller here, as you see, there's a hard plastic ring in there. And basically what that does is when you're at full lock, you basically just glide along the shell instead of scraping against hard plastic. So it does make a difference, again, when you are at full lock. Now, you can buy those impact rings if you are going to be replacing the front shell of your controller. But again, that's a little bit out of that $20 range, and that's a little bit more involved than a lot of these other mods. But thumbstick caps is something that you easily just stick on and off. You can take them off as you please, and they change the look of the controller, they change the feel of the controller, and they do change the performance of the controller for about 15 bucks. If you go with Control Freaks like these ones here, they did come with 2 pairs, so a total of 4 sticks or 4 caps, I should say, for about $15. Or you can get thumbstick caps like these, an assorted color pack for like $6 for like 50 of them. But they obviously don't feel as good. In fact, I personally don't like the feel of these ribbed ones here. They don't feel very good on my thumbs. I hardly actually play with this controller. It's more of a display piece for me, as it is a discontinued Xbox One controller, just part of my collection. And I thought the gray and blue looked really good with this controller here. But as far as performance, you know, obviously Control Freaks do feel the best. The next one, and this is pretty huge, ladies. This is a good size, so take a good deep whiff of it. That would be rechargeable batteries. Ditch the disposables and go with rechargeables if you are on the Xbox platform. Now, PlayStation 4 and 5 controllers do have built-in rechargeable batteries. Now, having disposables can be a good thing, because if you run out and you didn't have a second controller ready to hot swap that had been charging, you can just throw out your disposables and pop in some new AA's. But having rechargeable obviously will save you money in the long term because you're not throwing out disposables. Makes sense. But over the years, I have tried mini rechargeable battery packs like this, and almost all these kits come with 2 batteries, so you can have one charging, ready to hot swap when your controller dies, so it kind of gives you that perk that you would get with disposables, that you already have one on tap. And also, this particular one right here, EBL, which, full disclosure, they did send this out to me. They didn't tell me to say anything about their product, nor would I agree to those terms anyway. So I'm going to give you my full, blatantly honest opinion of this. The battery life on these is insanely good. Like, starting to nip on the heels of disposables. Now, it's not quite as long as a dedicated, you know, good name brand pair of Duracells or something like that. However, these are rechargeable, so you're going to save a small fortune over the months and years of ownership of a controller that actually go underneath your battery tray. I have used ones in the past that literally are the entire cover and tray and everything, and that's not good and that's not great for 2 reasons. One, those generally protrude out and stick out, and they're generally all black or all white, so it doesn't really go with the theme color of a lot of limited edition controllers that you might get for Xbox. Not to mention, if you do actually paint or customize yours, then you're going to have an all black instead of being able to actually use your tray or cover. This one in particular is pretty cool because it gives you an indication of what level your 2 batteries are at, and it also has this little cutout here, which is kind of a little grab handle for it, which is really cool. It's super light, but doesn't feel chintzy. It feels relatively durable. This retails for about $15, comes with 2 batteries in the dock. Pretty nice. Now the next one is very similar to Thumbstick Caps, but it is actually replacing the thumbsticks altogether, so removing the front shell, which is very, very, very easy on a Xbox One or Xbox Series controller. You have 2 T8 screws in the handles and another one behind the batteries here, and you are able to separate the front shell, at which point you have access to your analog sticks, which you can pop off. Oh my god, I broke it. Not really. So if you get something like this Extreme Rate Kit, this retails for about $15, but it's constantly on sale around the $10 to $12 range. By the way, everything that I am mentioning here today will be linked in the description below. But what you do is you replace your thumbstick caps with these bad boys here, which will come with 6 replaceable caps, domed and concaved in different heights, so you can customize the look, feeling, and performance of your thumbsticks, which is pretty awesome. They do have white, black, and also a ton of other colors such as blue, red, green, and as you can see, I have a higher right stick, and I personally like the feeling of a nice grippy dome stick over concave sticks. I always have, so that is how I'm running it on my Xbox Series controller over here. The next one would be some kind of stick-on grip. So I don't currently have any controllers in my possession that have stick-on grips. However, I have done builds on this channel in the past that I did use basically stick-on grips that simulate this kind of grippy rubberized material on the back, which is super good for comfort, especially for those long sessions and whatnot, especially if you're one of those sweaty gamers that gets real moist palms. You don't really lose a lot of grip or anything like that, which is really, really great. They're about $10 to $15. They stick over the front, and they actually have cutouts to where they fit perfectly around PlayStation and Xbox controllers. Now the next one is super, super cheap, but I think it looks super awesome. I'm going to go ahead and cut the light for a minute so I can showcase this for you guys. Now this is a DualShock 4 controller that is connected to my PS5. And this is a Xbox Series S controller that is connected to my Xbox Series S. But as you can see, I have these really cool translucent stickers. Sorry, I know the mic quality wasn't great because I was standing over my microphone. But there are translucent sticker packs like this. Xbox ones here. Got a whole bunch of PS4 ones here. Basically, it lets the light bleed through, and it just looks really cool. Creates a really cool effect, and these are pretty damn cheap. It's like $10 for a pack of these, and you can customize or build multiple controllers and still have a bunch of these in different themes. It's pretty cool. That one's strictly cosmetic. It's not going to add 15 frames per second to your console or anything like that. The next one would be trigger locks. So a lot of premium controllers come with trigger locks installed. So like, for example, that is the full pull of that trigger right there. So obviously this can't be used for racing games or anything like that because you can't modulate the brake in throttle. But for shooting games, which is primarily what people use paddle controllers for, as it does move all the face buttons to the back so you can keep your hands on the right stick. But these short trigger pulls are good for those semi-automatic weapons where you want to quickly be able to pull the trigger. Now, you can get a Backshell Kit from a company called Extreme Rate. Same company that makes these. Actually, same company that makes these. They make a lot of products for people that don't mind tinkering or customizing their controllers. And they do have Backshell Kits for Xbox One controllers and PlayStation controllers. And they're relatively easy to install. I do have tutorials on this channel. I'll have one linked down there in the description below you can kind of follow along with. And as opposed to something like this that is literally just pre-installed on the controller, these are actual levers that you can turn on and off. So you can use the same controller for your racing games, or if you need full control modulation of the triggers. And then if you do play a shooting game, you can just turn the trigger locks on. It cuts the pull down quite a bit. And that, in my opinion, is very, very useful because you're able to bust off semi-automatic shots a lot quicker. And it feels better, too, in my opinion. The very last one that I'm going to finish up with, guys, is if you want to fully customize your controller to make it your own. It is relatively cheap and easy, I would say, to disassemble a controller and then paint it whether that's spray paint, whether that's hand painting, airbrushing, or hydro dipping, like this one here has been hydro dipped. You can get hydro dipping film online. Just literally Google hydro dip film and you can get like thousands of different graphics. And then you get what's called an activator. It's a little aerosol can. You'll spray onto the water surface and then basically dip the controller in there. Not fully assembled like this. You just want the shell. And you're able to make a one-off custom controller for yourself, or even start a small business doing it for your making controllers for your friends or whatever. And obviously that does nothing for performance, but it just looks absolutely awesome. I think that's going to do it. That's my list. That is the cheap, easy, inexpensive modifications or upgrades that you can do to controllers to make a difference to either cosmetics, performance, or comfort. I want to hear your guys' list. Drop them in the comments section below. I'm sure you guys have your own mods that you've done. You know, maybe something I've never even thought of before. Maybe you got rubber bands wrapped around your analog sticks to create extra resistance or something. I don't know. People do crazy stuff with controllers. That's literally limitless. You're only bound by the limits of your imagination. So you can do all kinds of stuff with these bad boys. Drop in the comment section below, like I said, your guys' mods. If you enjoyed the video, liking it helps it to get seen by more people, so this can reach them as well, which in turn helps me grow this little channel. Subscribe for more content like this. I do a ton of news in the gaming community and industry, as well as tutorials helping you get set up streaming and YouTubing, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.